Hello, Stronger Together. Give just a moment for everybody to jump in here. But while we're waiting, if you hop in, let me know if you have any questions that you are wanting the answer to. Just want to make sure that this is playing where it needs to be. Say hello whether you're watching live or on replay. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm just going to take a look here. Give me just a moment. I see Joni's in here. Welcome. I think we're going. I think it is working. Let's see though. Let me see if I can see comments too. That's the next thing. We are smack dab in the middle of Mercury retrograde currently. Joni, I see you. Perfect. Oops, sorry about that. All right, I can see comments on the computer. That will work. We are smack dab in the center of Mercury retrograde. So how is everybody doing? Is this one different? Does this retrograde feel differently to you? Or does it feel like every other retrograde? There are 5 other planets as well that are retrograde right now too, which gives it a little bit of a different feel and vibe and intention. All of that's just a little bit different. Thank you, Joni. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze, excuse me. Maybe I'm not going to sneeze. Who knows what I'm going to do right now. So this retrograde is just a little bit different because we also have the main ones that are going to affect it in a different manner is Neptune, Venus, along with Jupiter are also retrograde right now too. So a lot of the time when we think about Mercury retrograde, we are in that, avoid the X's, communication issues, all of that kind of stuff coming in. Retrogrades usually feel really fast to me. This one feels really slow and like it's kind of a time to rest and relax, and retrogrades are always going internal, but I don't feel the chaos with this one like I typically do, and I give that one kind of up to Venus along with Neptune and Jupiter being retrograde too. What you're going to notice with this one is past relationships that amends have not been made, whether they've been made, in the physical here and now or in the spiritual, doesn't matter. All the same, right? Have you made amends though? You're going to see those relationships where amends either from the opposite person or within yourself is going to come up to where it's time. It's time to truly make those amends and free yourself from whatever energy that relationship was having. I can speak for myself. I saw someone from my past that amends had not been made from their side of the ship. And what that did for me was I really got to see where I was at with that I had made amends. I wasn't triggered by their irritation or their upset. And my comment was, I hope sometime soon you find the peace that you are seeking. Because nobody deserves to live in this type of turmoil. And it was heartfelt. It wasn't catty. It wasn't, an undercut or anything like that. Truly, you will get to see how the difference in people is when you are the one who have made amends, but the other person hasn't. You are just not plagued by those negative, downtrodden feelings. So you guys are going to see that. And normally during Mercury retrograde, I would not tell you to lean into those relationships, but I think we're being called to lean into those relationships. Now, making amends does not mean that you bring them back into your life or that you, become friends or lovers like you were. But it means that you release that energy that is literally bondage between the two of you. You make forgiveness of what happened and you release it. You let it go. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you approve of the behavior, you accept the behavior, or even that it was okay. It's just a choice to no longer hold on to what was plaguing you. It's just that option to just truly, truly release it. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that through this, that old relationships are coming up. but in a very different manner where you're given the opportunity to assess, have you truly let go of it? Have you released it? Have you moved to a place of true forgiveness and amends to where you're no longer plagued by that hurt, that pain, that anger, that rage, whatever came up with those? Is it gone, truly? This retrograde, in my opinion, is giving us a chance to really come to a place of peace. True peace within those relationships that just don't serve us anymore. They're no longer of a benefit, and it was time to release it then, but it's time to take a look and really reassess. Have you released? Have you freed yourself from that relationship, from that pain, from the sadness, whatever it is? So let me know if you guys are noticing that. But I really think that that has more to do with the other planets being in retrograde more so than even Mercury. This is the one Mercury retrograde where I think you have an opportunity to lean into relationships and make amends within them. Whether that be spiritual amends with our higher self or face-to-face in person. Doesn't matter. But that opportunity is there. But this is an Ask Me Anything. Do you have questions for me? Spiritual questions, personal questions, whatever you want. This is your time to ask me anything you want. Life guidance, what's going on? Talk to me. Joni, yes, but with the space to reflect, I feel the peace. Right, I don't normally feel peaceful in Mercury retrograde. I typically feel chaotic. And I do not feel that this round at all. So, certainly different. One of the questions that I had ahead of time was, what was your favorite crystal find in Denver? Which I can't say that I found this in Denver. I picked it up in Denver. I knew that I was going to go ahead and purchase it prior to Denver. So I will show her to you. This is my new Gwendol quartz. My first one. I've never had one of these before. And I think just from looking at it, you can kind of see the different growth patterns. So what makes a Gwendol quartz different than other quartz is that it grows on the, if you want to get scientific-y, it grows on the C axis rather than the A axis. So if I show you, let's see, what do I want to show you? I can show you on this Aura quartz. So here's a C axis growth. This is how quartz normally grows. And you can see this almost like turned onto itself and grew the long ways. So hopefully that's on the screen. Yeah. So you see how they twist. It almost twists on the C axis. Gwendol quartz is one of those that I have never worked with before, so I will let you know how it feels. I can tell you that up front, just working with it while in Denver and on my way home and last night, that it is a one-person crystal. It's not one that I feel, until it's ready perhaps, is going to want to work with multiple people. It feels a little bit like a Lemurian quartz to me, where it's wanting to address very personal type of issues coming up. It's different than Lemurian though, in the sense that most Lemurians feel very gentle. This does not. This one is one of those that, you know how, okay, so I said that it's twisted, like it's turned. It really gets into those deep-seated places of the psyche of where we're just kind of twisted. We're upside down on our thoughts. They're not quite accurate, not quite right. So I think it's really going to dig into those deeper-seated unconscious thoughts or patterns that you just haven't noticed. You haven't realized that they exist, and start to peel that out. It is said to be a master healer from what I have found from other people who have worked with it. Ryan has worked with it before and loved it. This is actually who I got this one from. But it talks about how it enhances psychic abilities, but it enhances them because it unlocks memories. It finds those places that we've buried and unlocks the muscle memory, is what I like to call it, of past life stuff too. So I am excited to see what that finds for me. I think it's definitely going to be one of those that within even soul retrieval from the shamanic aspects, that it is going to be astronomical to be able to work with in that. So I'm excited. I'll update you guys after that 2 weeks of working with it, just to see where it's at for me. If what other people who have worked with it find is the same for me. If this one's different, it could be different. Mine is a smoky quartz, which probably is going to have a little bit different vibration than someone who has a clear quartz or a citrine. But I don't know, honestly. But she is beautiful. And she feels amazing. So I'll let you know. I'll update you on that. Joni, your world has been chaotic, but it's been outside of myself. Yeah, it's not us. And I'm kind of excited about this. Most of the light workers that I have talked to can see the chaos in the external, maybe even in their environment, but the internal turmoil that usually Mercury retrograde brings is not there. I think we're being afforded a true gift and blessing right now to where we get to see exactly how much internal work we've done. So those of us who have really put in the time to work on those internal mechanisms, patterns, releasing, I don't think we're experiencing the internal chaos that a lot of people are. Now, I will say, if the internal chaos is there, find it. Find why it's there and release it, because that's also a gift in being able to acknowledge that something is ready to move out. So if you are in the other bucket of experiencing the internal turmoil, then figure out why. What is it that Mercury is trying to tell you, and how can you release whatever that energy is that's coming up? There is always the Mercury retrograde shamanic journey that's in the Stronger Together Thinkific platform that's available to our members. So if that's something that interests you, I can drop that link within the chat so that you can go to that. Any of the Stronger Together connection call members, go do that. Go do it anyways. Even if you're not feeling the internal turmoil, connect with that Mercury energy and see what's going on. Part of me really wants to put out a shamanic series to connect with every planetary conjunction, alignment, and retrograde. Let me know if that's something that would interest you, is to journey to connect with each of those planets, whether they're in retrograde or not, to figure out what they're trying to teach us in the moment. I think that's something that would be very useful and very helpful for the rest of your life, to be able to have access to that. Harmonizers, my favorite. But did I bring them in here? You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna go grab one. Give me a second. I'll be back. Harmonizers. All right. Let me open these up. Joni, this I think is one of yours. So these are harmonizers. We have one shungite and then another one. So the concept is yin and yang, balancing of the masculine and feminine to release toxins. The shungite is always going to be the one that goes in the left. This is the yin, the female, the feminine, right? Put it in the left hand. And then whichever one is the sun or the yang energy, the masculine, goes in the right hand. And then you hold them like this. I like to do it sitting down. So if you're sitting down, then you're literally going to take them just like this and place them on each knee and sit. I would start out, the charoite is already starting to peel for me. These were super amplifying. I'll cleanse this before I give it back to you, Joni. The charoite, like I can feel it right into my lungs. And then it moves up through my spine. But you're going to sit like this for, I would start with 5 minutes until you really get accustomed to them. Yeah. But you'll start to really feel the energy flowing up the left, around, and then out the right. It's detoxifying is the concept behind it. To really clean up any of those energy imbalances that are existing within the masculine and the feminine, or within the physical body for that matter. It's really to clean up all of the emotional and physical strain too. And anybody who got these from me will also have a card from the maker that talks a little bit about that, along with how to work with them. Now, word of caution. The first time I had harmonizers, I would use them lying down. And I fell asleep with them for, I think, 2 hours on the couch. And when I woke up, I felt like I was not in my body. It was very odd. I couldn't move. A little bit of that sleep paralysis energy is what it felt like. So I recommend that when you're starting out, you don't do it lying down, because if it relaxes you so much that you fall asleep, it can be overwhelming because it's going to be detoxifying that entire time. So when you wake up, you could feel a little la-di-la, which it's cleansing. So like, it'll be absolutely amazing. But I think you're going to want your first experience with them to be one that is a little bit more comfortable. So start with 5 minutes. Yeah, like, I don't know if you can tell, but just sitting with that, like that for, was that even a minute? I can feel it starting to cleanse out. The Charoite and the Seraphonite sets are the ones that I picked up this round, and they're crazy. Crazy good in a way that I feel like it happens faster even than the Shungite and Tulaviki stone is the other one, which is honestly a type of soapstone. But those are the first sets that this specific vendor, Ferro Cylinders is the vendor, came out with, was the Shungite and the Tulaviki. He also is an energy healer, so he decided to move and do this year Seraphonite along with Charoite. He also put out a set of copper. I've not worked with the copper. I worked with my own Charoites. Again, I think I sat with it for 5 minutes and was like, wow, even that is like a lot. I will cleanse all of them though before I send them out to you guys who pre-purchase those, because they pull really fast. The energy that they move is really, really quick. And I would say it was a lot faster than the Shungite with the Tulaviki. So if you are new to harmonizers or crystal healing energies, I would start with the Shungite and the Tulaviki, not probably the Charoite. The Seraphonite felt a little bit more gentle to me than the Charoite. But the Charoite is like, yeah, we're getting to work right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not in 2 hours, like now. Whatever's there has to go. I really feel like the Seraphonite is going to work more of the physical body energies when I sat with that, whereas the Charoite is going to work more of the emotional and unconscious mind, which the feelings. So for me, Charoite was much more intense. I would say you Enneagram heart points though, the Seraphonite might feel more intense. And I would have thought that it would be opposite, because I thought Seraphonite, from color correspondences, along with the chakra systems that it usually works with, I thought the Seraphonite would work on the emotional body, and that's not what I found between the two. So that is different. Yeah, you guys are in for a ride though, everybody that bought these, and it's in a good way. So if you get to that place where even I was, of like already starting to breathe quickly, UFO holding that Janessa with Fiercely Radiant Soul teaches us is amazing. Tapping, grounding, I recommend that you have some type of smoky quartz or hematite next to you, just in case when you set them down you do need to ground, especially with the Charoite. I would make sure that you're doing that. Light column activation ahead of it, and get into a clear headspace along with drinking a ton of water is what I would prep for anybody that got the Charoites. They're intense, but I truly feel that they're amazing. I recommend you guys do muscle tests though to see if it's a good fit or which one you should start with, because I know a lot of you bought multiple or all three. So just take a look and see where you're at. Set a timer on your phone though. Set a timer so that it goes off, because when you get into that groove of that meditative state with these, which will happen quick, you lose track of time really, really fast. So, harmonizers. Joni, did that answer your question on the harmonizers, what we do with them and why? Perfect. What other questions do you guys have? Yeah, Joni, that set is amazing. I know this one is yours because I have your stuff sitting out. So that one I know for sure is yours. But I hand selected all of them. There are no boxes that I did not open prior to pulling them, and then I just tested which one best fits everybody's energy. And that is how I found which ones you all will have. Any other questions for me tonight? It can be spiritual, metaphysical, personal, whatever you want. Ask me anything is what this is tonight. Denver was different this year. I would say you can see inflation happening within the prices of the minerals, especially. Not so much the jewelry. The minerals were expensive. The prices for the minerals had increased a lot. Now, I will say that I also did not see a lot of sales happening on the minerals either. So, I think Tucson will be a really good chance for people to get good deals, because I think the sellers are going to realize that inflation happened for all of us, and you can't, pull money from where it's not at. So I think we're going to see lower prices on minerals in Tucson, just because there was a lot that was there that was very expensive, and there was not a lot of people buying from what I saw in the week that we were there. So I think we're going to see that move. There was not a lot of new finds. I didn't see hardly anything there, and what I did see, I didn't love the energy of, so I didn't pick any of that up. Colorado Amazonite, you guys know I love that. I did pick us up some chalcanthite, which is completely new, that I'm carrying. It's not a new mineral, but it's a new one that I'm carrying because most of it is lab created and dyed, and I don't want that. So when I could find it from Ryan and Amanda and know exactly where it came from and how it was mined and harvested, I picked it up. But a lot of chalcanthite is mined by children. It is extraordinarily toxic within the mines because of the dust. So most children that are mining the chalcanthite also die within 6 months. And I am not about supporting that type of business, so I've never purchased it before until I knew who had mined it and who got it, and that they did it how it should be done. So we have it. We have ethically mined chalcanthite that I will share with you all. But yeah, so I don't know, there wasn't a ton of new minerals. The jewelry was astronomical this round. The Peruvian vendor is amazing. I know a lot of you guys got some really great stuff from there. I think when you see her crystals that she put into that jewelry, you're going to freak out, because the crystals themselves, the Lemurians in those larger necklaces, is I would say just a Lemurian that looks like what's in some of those necklaces would be $250 easily. And that doesn't, include her labor, along with the love that she put into it, and the other stones that are there too. The silver work, because that is true silver that is in all of hers. She also hand carves the silver, so it details it. I don't know if it's called carving when you do silver, but all of the detailing within the silver is hand done. That's not a stamp. She does it all. So Peruvian vendor was one of my favorites. Doji Imports, I believe, is her business name, if you guys want to look her up. So she doesn't do a lot of online stuff, but you can find her every once in a while though. So Doji Imports, D-O-J-E-E, was her business name, and she is amazing. Her energy is great. You can tell she is clearly another light worker. And that's who I like to buy from. So that's kind of where I went, was really making sure this year that everybody we were working with felt really, really good. And that's what we came home with. So any other questions for me tonight? Otherwise, I'm going to let you all go. Let's see, what else was there? There was a beautiful morganite shifting into aquamarine. A morganite into goshenite also that was water etched. Very, very cool. Trying to think. There was one piece of large ocean jasper that I saw, and that was it. And it was not very good quality. So I think we're really starting to see the fact that that ocean jasper is truly, it's gone. The mine's not there. So what you are getting is coming out of collector's possessions, or finally, the stuff that wasn't as good of quality as the beginning is starting to be placed within the market. So we're really seeing that this year, that ocean jasper that is no more. All right, everybody, I do not see any other questions, so I'm going to let you all go. The next Stronger Together connection call is next Thursday, so make sure you join us for that. I'll drop the link into this chat for the Stronger Together calls. If you are ready to sign up and join us, we are here for it. We're focusing on body this month. So if you are having concerns with your physical body, this is where you're going to want to join us. So with that, I'm going to let you all go though. Universal blessings, and thank you all so much for joining me. And I hope your Mercury retrograde is not chaotic, but also truly a gift and healing. See you later, everybody.